Welcome to the final video in my series Yoga for Your Moon Cycle. Today we'll be entering into the premenstrual phase, which is the autumn phase, and it's generally the most difficult time for women experiencing their menstrual cycle. It has a notorious reputation of a time when you're just feeling really irritable, disconnected, and just not yourself. But I really think that this time gives a bad rap because for me, it really shows the shadow side of myself. So all the kind of negative things about my personality really come out during this time. But it's a really great way to reflect on those things and really think about where those emotions or feelings are coming from. Yes, a lot of it is to do with hormones and just that fluctuation as we start to enter into autumn and then into winter when we come on up to our actual periods. But also it's really a time where we're reacting. We're not consciously processing our emotions, and so this time is always a time for me when I journal a lot. I really think about my behaviour in certain situations, and I think about how I want to be better in the next cycle. So every phase has something to teach us, and this phase is really one to just check in and really see what those shadow sides of yourself are. It can be a reality check, so when we're riding high on spring and summer, we're feeling our best and everything is rosy, and this phase in our cycle is a really great way of humbling ourselves, kind of bringing us back down to earth, and enabling us to really check in on the kind of more negative aspects of our nature, as we all have them. No one is perfect. So physically during this time, I know for me, my digestion is definitely a lot more off than it usually is. So we'll be focusing on lots of twisting during this phase to really get the digestion flowing again. And also really just promoting a sense of grounding, really just tapping in with the body. If you're feeling a sense of disconnection right now, we're really hoping to foster that connection with yourself once more. We can feel really frazzled. I know for me, I find it the hardest to concentrate during this time, especially at work. So I really try to fit all of my important work stuff in the morning when I know that my concentration is highest. And then in the afternoon, I just take it a bit easier. Don't feel bad if you need to change your ways of working during this time. It's actually a sign of great strength and organisation that you're managing to move things around according to your menstrual cycle, so that's a great thing. Just be gentle with yourself during this time. We know that it's not the best. Really look to nourish yourself with lots of good food, helping to balance your hormones. And if you can, just really try to be conscious with everything that you're doing and saying. It's really easy to react during this phase to things that are irritating. You have less patience with things. So really just checking in and seeing if you can just think before you react. That's definitely one that I need to do. But yes, I really hope that you enjoy this grounding practice. We won't be standing at all during this practice, really looking to lengthen, stretch, ground, as I said, and nourish. And I really hope that you enjoy just giving yourself that time to release and relax. This is the last video in my series, so if you've watched the whole way through, I thank you so much. I've put so much love and effort into these videos, and I really hope that shines through. And I look forward to seeing you in the videos to come. So thank you so much and enjoy the practice. Okay, so just coming to a seated position, starting to center yourself, tuning into the breath. Inhaling deeply through the nose and then exhaling fully through the mouth. And as you breathe, perhaps placing your left hand onto your heart, right hand onto your belly, and just connecting to your womb space and your heart space. Bringing back that feeling of connection to the body, as during our premenstrual phase we may be feeling quite disconnected. Good, taking one more deep breath here. And then when you're ready, bringing the palms to heart center, we're going to come into Mothering Lotus Mudra. So bringing the palms to heart center and then slowly linking the fingers as you press away with the palms. So reaching forward and then slowly turning back in, we're going to come into a Lotus Mudra. and draw that towards the heart. Wonderful. Taking a few more rounds in tune with your own breath, starting to warm up the arms and the wrists, as well as coming into that lotus mudra really signifies shining in muddy waters. So whatever we may be feeling now, if we're feeling quite down, disconnected, just knowing that we will get through this time, this too shall pass, and just trying to show up as best we can. Wonderful. Drawing that lotus towards your heart and then taking one more round as you reach forward and back to lotus. Wonderful. So just releasing the palms now to rest on the knees. We're coming into a seated cat-cow. So as you inhale, really drawing the shoulders away from the ears, opening up the chest as you gaze forward. And then exhale, pressing those palms into the knees as you dome the spine. Inhale, open the chest, gaze forward. And exhale. Good. Couple more rounds in your own time. Good. Taking one more breath. Wonderful. Coming back to a seated position now, we're going to take the palms behind the back and just slowly start to release the hips. So drawing the hips up to the sky, feeling that lengthening through the hip flexors as you gaze towards the ceiling. Just taking a deep breath here and then slowly releasing back down. Wonderful. We're going to roll over now into a tabletop position. So hands underneath shoulders, knees hip width apart, and just walking the knees slightly backwards as we come into Anahatasana, melting heart pose. So just walking those arms out in front, resting the forearms on the ground, and then pressing the forehead into the mat. Just starting to open up the shoulders here, and just play around with what feels good to you. Maybe it's walking the hands out a little wider, or maybe it's walking them in closer together. And if you want to take it a bit deeper, you can choose to rest the chin on the mat instead of the forehead, and that's going to deepen the sensation in the shoulders. So whatever you feel that you need today, just come into that variation. Wonderful. Taking one more deep breath here. And then when you're ready, we're slowly going to walk ourselves back up to a tabletop position. This time taking the knees out nice and wide as we come into wide-legged child's pose, Balasana. So feet come together, big toes to touch. We're going to draw the sit bones towards the heels and then slowly release the upper body onto the mat once more. Again, just promoting a sense of grounding here, tuning in. Really just tapping into how the body feels. If you're feeling any discomfort, any cramping, any irritation, just allowing those emotions and feelings to release, feel them without any judgment. Good. Taking one more deep breath here. And then when you're ready, we're going to come up onto the fingertips and just come into a gentle side stretch. So walking the hands over to the left side and just gently stretching. Perhaps looking underneath the right armpit, or perhaps looking under the left, whichever feels good to you. Whichever side you feel that needs a bit more stretch. And just breathing into the side body as you lengthen through that part. Holding here for one more breath. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, coming back to a neutral position, we're going to take that over to the right side this time, or the other side to what you just started with. So again, just coming into a gentle stretch, whichever side feels good to you. Good, taking one more deep breath here. Wonderful, and then when you're ready, coming back to a neutral position, we're going to come back to our tabletop, step back into a high plank very briefly, and then slowly start to lower ourselves down onto our bellies. So really taking your time to bend the elbows, activating the core here if you can, and then slowly releasing all the way down onto your belly. Wonderful. So we're going to open up the shoulders a bit more, coming into a pose called broken wings. So releasing the arms out wide, and this will really depend on what feels good in your shoulders. So I'm going to give you a couple of variations. So I'm going to lengthen my left arm out wide and then slowly start to turn so that my right foot goes behind my left leg, knees nice and bent, and you should feel like a nice opening in the left shoulder here. Now this can be quite intense, so feel free to play this up and down as much as you want, maybe just rolling over a little bit, not coming all the way. Or if you want to deepen the sensation, then you can start to roll over and perhaps take your right arm behind you. So completely up to you and what feels good. We're just going to start to open up that left shoulder, as well as opening up this right hip. So perhaps just pressing the palm onto that hip joint, starting to open up the hip at the same time. Perhaps placing your right palm on your belly, on your womb space, just to give some warmth if you're experiencing any discomfort or cramping as we are in the premenstrual phase. Good, just sending some love to your womb. Good, just holding here for one more breath. And then when you're ready, slowly coming back to a neutral position. We're going to take that on the other side now. So this time lengthening through the right arm as we take the left foot behind the right leg. Again, dialing this pose up and down as much as you need to. It may feel different on the other side, so just know that that's completely normal. And again, just taking your palm to wherever feels good. Perhaps it's on your womb space or your hip, or just laying flat on the floor. Wonderful. Taking one more deep breath here. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back to a neutral position and just come into Sphinx pose. So releasing the forearms out in front of you. And again, depending on how your body feels, especially your lower back, we can dial this up and down as much as you need to. So walking the forearms out in front is going to release the sensation or reduce the sensation in the lower back. If you want a deeper back bend today, then you can walk your elbows in towards the body. And that's just going to create a deeper back bend and a deeper sensation in the lower back. So really rolling the shoulders away from the ears here. See if you can relax the lower back and release the glute muscles. Sorry, there's an ambulance running past. I'm trying not to talk over it. So see if you can just release your glute muscles. They're naturally going to want to protect your lower back at this stage as you're moving into your back bend. But see if you can just release those glutes. And that will enable you to go a bit deeper now. Good, just holding here for one more breath. And then when you're ready, we're slowly going to come onto a pillow with our hands. So just creating a lovely little pillow with the hand and the forearms and just resting the forehead here, perhaps shuffling the hips side to side just to release that lower back. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, we're going to place the palms by the ribs, roll the shoulders away from the ears, and just push ourselves up into upward facing dog. So tucking the back toes is going to enable you to release the front of the feet onto the mat. Really roll the shoulders away from the ears as you lengthen through the crown of the head. We don't really want to come into a super big back bend here, but just keep the spine nice and straight. Just starting to open up the chest again, releasing the hips, perhaps shuffling from side to side, just lengthening through the front of the body. Wonderful. Strengthening the arms, really pressing those palms into the mat. And then when you're ready, we're going to lift up and just release that left knee onto the mat, just turning the leg out and then lengthening through that right leg as we come into a lovely side stretch. So really now just releasing through this right side of the body as you press your left palm into the mat, really lengthening through that left arm as you take that right arm overhead, reaching towards the back of the room. Wonderful. Taking a deep breath here. And then you may choose to start to come into a quad stretch. So bending that right leg as you take the right foot into the right hand and just draw that right foot away from the body as you start to open up that right hip. Just feel a lovely lengthening through that right hip flexor and the right quad. Wonderful. Taking one more breath here. Doing really well. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back to neutral position and then just take that on the other side. So this time taking the right foot out, lengthening through the left leg, taking that left arm overhead as we stretch into that left side body. Good, just breathing here. And then when you're ready, perhaps starting to bend that left leg, taking the left foot into the left hand, and then just drawing that left foot away from the body as you start to open up the left hip and the quad muscle. Good, taking one more deep breath here. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back to a neutral position. Just cross the legs and come into a seated pose now. So we're coming into something called square pose or fire log pose. We're basically going to make a lovely square with the legs and the ankles. So it's up to you which side that you start with. I'm going to start with my left leg on top. So just walking my right leg on top. So just walking the left foot out a bit further than you would traditionally with crossing your legs. And then we're going to take the right ankle on top of that left knee. Left ankle is underneath right knee. So you're creating a lovely square pose with your legs. Now this can be quite intense on the hips and the glutes. So again, it's really up to you what your body is feeling today. If you want to take it a bit easy and release that sensation, then just create a smaller square. So bringing the legs back to more of a cross-legged position. Or if you want to take it a bit further and really feel that intense stretch, then see if you can walk your legs out a bit more to create more of a visible square. So just holding here, we're going to roll the shoulders away from the ears, really lengthen through the spine and the crown of the head, and then slowly just start to fold over. Now it really doesn't matter how far you fold over, that is not the output of the pose. I really want you to focus on the stretch that you feel. So I'm starting with the right leg on top, so I'm really feeling a lovely stretch down the right glute all the way down my thigh. So see if you can just tap into that sensation. And then with each exhale, just see if you can start to fold even deeper. Good, just holding here for a few more breaths. Again, seeing if you can release the muscles so that you can just deepen the stretch in the right side of the body even more. Good, and then when you're ready, slowly coming back up to a seated position. We're going to transition now into a seated twist. So lengthening that left leg out in front, we're going to take the right foot outside of the left leg, keeping that left foot nice and active. And then taking the right hand behind you, lengthening through the left arm as you hook that left elbow just outside of the right knee and turn to twist behind you. So this twist, we're really stimulating the digestive system, detoxing those organs, and hoping to kind of re-stimulate them as digestion can be affected during your premenstrual phase. So really hoping to get them flowing nice and easy again. Again, not putting too much weight into this back arm. It really should be a light support. And see if with each inhale, if you can lengthen through the crown of the head, and each exhale, see if you can just use the pressure from the elbow and the knee just to turn you a little bit more, gazing towards the back of the room. Good, holding here for one more breath. And then when you're ready, releasing, we're just going to come into a gentle counter pose. So just turning over to the other side just to release that lower back. And then when you're ready, coming back to a neutral position. So we're coming back to our seated position now, coming into our square pose on the other side. So just taking the opposite side that you took before. So I'm now going to have my right leg underneath, my left leg on top. So left ankle over right knee. And then right ankle underneath left knee. So again, walking in or out as much as feels comfortable to you. And then when you're ready, slowly starting to fold over, feeling the lengthening in the left glute, the left top of the thigh. Again, just checking in with those muscles, see if you can release them with each exhale, see if you can just surrender even more. Good, taking one more deep breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly just coming back up to a seated position. Again, we're going to come into our seated twist. So this time lengthening through the right leg, keeping that right foot nice and active. Left foot goes outside of the right leg. Taking that left arm behind as we lengthen through the right arm and then hook that right elbow onto the left knee and gaze towards the back of the room. So I find it a lot easier to twist on this side, and our bodies aren't symmetrical. So if you feel the same way or if one side is easier than the other, that's completely normal. So as you inhale, really lengthening through the crown of the head, and as you exhale, see if you can twist even deeper. Drawing the navel to the spine is going to give you a lot more space to maneuver. But during this phase, when we're just about to come onto our period, it may be a bit uncomfortable to really suck the tummy in. So it's completely up to you. Really just coming into this twist to stimulate the digestive system, get it flowing nice and easily again. Wonderful, taking one more deep breath here. And then coming back to center, just coming into a gentle counter pose, just releasing that lower back. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back to a seated position and just take a moment to check back in with the breath and the body. So really wanting to promote a sense of grounding in this practice, it's really important that we continuously check in with ourselves and how we're feeling. So you may just want to place your palms on your womb space and just take a few deep breaths. Or you may decide that you want to come back into your Mother Brain Lotus Mudra, so really pressing the palms away and then coming back to a lotus position towards the heart, really signifying shining in muddy waters. So if you're feeling a bit down or a bit rubbish at this moment, just knowing that you will get through this stage in your cycle, and in a couple of weeks all will be sunny again. Or you may choose to come into a thankful breath, so really taking the arms overhead as you inhale and then bringing the palms together, just drawing them in prayer position towards your heart. And as you come into that position with the hands, just thinking of giving your body a sense of gratitude for all that it is doing for you, keeping you alive every day without you really knowing what it's doing. Again, as you prepare to come onto your period, just thinking about the gift of life that is a possibility to you every month, and how magical that is, that your body can gift you a new beginning every month. So again, completely up to you how you want to honour yourself during this time of checking into the body. We're going to finish the practice now with a restorative pose. So it's legs up against the wall. Unfortunately, I don't have a wall here to demonstrate it properly, but I'm going to do it here for you now. So ideally you would have a wall here. I'm going to use my pretend one. So just releasing the upper body onto the mat and then just shuffling yourself as close as you can to the edge of the wall so that your bum basically is really pressed up against the wall. And then you're going to lengthen your legs up against the wall and just allow them to rest there. And this is a really restorative inversion, so it's not as heavy as a traditional shoulder stand, headstand or handstand, but it has the same benefits of really drawing the blood to the brain, through the heart, and just promoting a sense of restoration, peace, and helping to reduce anxiety or any irritation that we may be feeling. So it has many, many benefits. And you may choose just to give your legs a lovely massage during this time, just sending yourself some love. Or you may decide to just rest the palms on the womb space or perhaps the heart. Or if you're really looking to have a sense of grounding here, just pressing the palms into the mat, touching the ground or the earth, and just feeling that connection between the body and the earth. So I urge you just to stay here as long as feels comfortable. I'm going to release now and leave you. And then after that pose, you can come into a lovely Shavasana. Really invite you to snuggle up, get a couple of blankets, a couple of bolsters or pillows underneath the knees if you can, and really just give yourself the rest that you need as you head into your premenstrual phase and then, going into winter. It's really important that you nourish yourself, feel connected to yourself, give yourself the rest that you need. You've had your go, go, go period in spring and summer, and it's really time to bunker down now and just release, let go, surrender. So this is the last video in this series. I thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed these. I put so much love into them every week, and so I really thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Thank you.